This is MTE Metro Coal Limited. First thing I'm looking at is this big ultra high volume bar here. So I've marked off the close and the high of this bar. You can see how that volume bar has dictated the price for a long time. Through all this period here, it's been constraining the price. So I'll just move along here, put a pitchfork on this recent action here, but we can see here where the price was sold at this last high here on this volume here, and then come back down. Then it looks like it's being sold into here when the price is closed low, but what they're actually doing is absorbing supply from the left. The price keeps going up on volume until it kicks up over that resistance area, and then it's been sold into, but price actually comes back on lower volume until it hits that resistance line again. Then look, it kicks up again, and that's a bullish bar. And it sort of makes sense because if they've made the effort to get above this resistance line, so once it's come below that resistance line again, they're bullish under this line. So so they've bought it again, and again we have it going back up. These are all new highs now. Again, it's sold into the top, but still it's come back on lower volume. This is actually a little test bar here. Even over here, you got little test bars coming down, and they're the lowest volume in 3 bars, and dipping down into an area of supply, previous area of supply. But the low volume tells you that there's very little selling going on. And then she keeps up. You would have got a little buy here when it kicked up on this slightly more volume, and you got a good spread of the bar there, so that would have given you a nice buy. Up she goes. She's being sold again. She comes back on less volume, and up she goes again. She's being sold, and this time she's not coming back on less volume. It's tried to go up again on increased volume, but it's closed closer to the low. So this is now being sold into at the top, and it's a bit different to these other bars where it's gone up and then the selling's dropped off. This is sustained selling here, and that's a lot less volume there. It looks like it's been distributed, taken back up, distributed, and I think that will have to come back down because that looks like it is being sold into. You got your resistance here on the pitchfork, still an uptrending pitchfork, but I think you've got resistance on the median here, but possibly even down to the bottom time, because this is a bit different now to you're in a new area, a new high, and there's a sustained selling there. So I'd probably be looking at well, you've got the 37 cents, but I'd probably looking at, you got a bullish bar there, high volume bullish bar, hang on, right there. So you got the 39.5, and possibly even 42. So you got a few resistance areas there. There's this little test bar here where there's no selling, had dried up, so 42.5 maybe, but that I would expect that to come down, and it might accumulate for need to accumulate for a bit before it keeps deciding it wants to keep going up. This is ANP, Antisense Therapeutics. Again, I've marked off the low and the close of our high volume bar there, and we can see that this ultra high volume where it's been sold into at the top, but the price was supported, about halfway down the bar, so that's actually quite bullish down there, and there's been low volume. So the professional, when you see ultra high volume, that alerts you to the professional money in the market. And then when you've got really low volume coming down, that tells you that the professional money isn't interested in lower prices, especially since this 1.2, this 1.2 cents was being supported. Up she goes on higher volume, but then it's immediately distributed in the top here. You can see that we've got this widespread bar tries to go higher on less volume, and then when the volume does increase, it's a down bar. So that's a little trap move. And then you've got little up thrusts up here. I wonder what's over here to the left. You've got a previous area of supply here that it's catching as well. So there's your distribution up the top, and then it's just fallen away. But coming down here, it's this high volume bar, the low of this high volume bar is still supported. So that's so I'd say that's quite good there. And you can see as it comes and approaches this line here, there's no volume at all at this bottom here. So the professional money are not interested in lower prices from here. It's not being sold. No one's selling it, and then finally we get a little response up, even though this is it is catching supply now from the left here. This is an up thrust, which is bad on increased volume. You don't like seeing those, but still, see these two bars here. This is a widespread down bar, but look, no volume at all. So that's what we call falling pressure, where prices come down considerably like this, but on no volume, and that actually can be quite bullish as it was, because there's no selling in at all, and you get the same thing here. There's very the price just drops away, but there's no selling pressure behind it at all. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. You have got a lot of weakness up here. So that's going to be an area of resistance, and it might take a bit of time. It's going to take a lot of volume to get past this line here. You can see previously on the close of this bar, as it was trying to get up there, that it had to exert all this volume here to get above it. And they actually gapped it. It closed here, and they gapped it up to that line to avoid absorbing any selling in that area before they distribute it up there. So it'll need to, if they want to take it higher, they'll probably gap it over this line again, I'd say. But having a look at that, I'd call that 0.9 cents. I'd probably call that the bottom, and probably even that one there, even the 1 cent there. That's, even though there's no real strength in the background, there's very little selling, and that's just dropped away on nothing. And if there's no supply, then price can only go one way, but it'll need to exert volume to get above that line there. This is UNX. You can see we've had this big amount of volume coming in there, so it's actually distorted all these other bars. So if I get rid of those first, and what I've done is taken the next highest bar and marked off the top of that bar, and as a major resistance level, and probably I think I've come back here and marked one of these. Oh, here we go, this really high volume bar in the past, I've marked that off as well. So as and that's actually trapped the movement in this area here. Okay, and then this last move, they've actually gapped it over that area to avoid absorbing the supply from that resistance. So, but the thing that bothers me is this volume here is really high, and it's closed low. So when you see high volume, that alerts you to the professional activity in the market. There's a lot of it. But if they're bullish, how can the price close low like that? So this is actually, that's quite bad. And then it's followed by a narrow up thrust bar, and that's, even though that's lower volume, it's still very high volume compared to all these over here. And it's an up thrust, and it's starting to fall, and that's I mean, that bar there is ultra high, dwarfs all these, and it's a selling bar. So I don't know, this must have been an announcement or something, and everyone's bought in, all your mums and dads are bought in, but the professional end of the money was selling it. So it doesn't really matter how good the stock is if it can't go up unless the professional end of the market are supporting the price, and that's clearly being sold into, and that'll have to drop away. The other thing, oops, I probably can put a little pitchfork on that, and that's a serious sign of weakness right there. And so it's gapped over the median line there and fallen back below it. And I seriously doubt that it can get above that. I think that's a serious I like trading short, and these sorts of things here are what I look for if I trade short the majors. And what I would do is if it tries to attempt to get into that bar on low volume, I then short the stock. So if I saw that on one of the ones I traded, that'd be like a gift of a short trade for me. And so I would expect it to come down. Well, you got the lower tine here as support, but it's probably going to come back down to your 28. It's going to come back down to here at least. I think that's a serious get out signal there. And if I was long, I'll just get out, and I wouldn't probably get back in for a little bit until it could get past that bar. This is a KIK, and you can see it's got a little uptrending channel here. Here's your real bearish bar where it was sold into. You got this ultra high volume, and then prices come down. We know it's hidden selling in it because price came down afterwards. If the professional money were bullish the stock, it wouldn't come down like it has. So but it's come down to the trend line there, and anyway, I'll mark off the low of that stock. So it's come down below there. It's tried when the high volumes kicked in. It's been an up thrust. It hasn't been able to get above there, but it's come down on very low volume. That's a test bar, and then you got slightly more volume and price closes higher. That's a confirmation bar. So that's on the bottom of a trend channel. So that's a little buy signal there. So you could buy that, and now it's gone up on volume again, and it's actually busted through the bottom of that bar. So that's actually effort that's achieved the result. So, but we'll just have to see what happens on the next bar, if it can hold that resistance line there. If it can hold that resistance line, or if it goes higher, if it tries to come back on very low volume and stays within that bar, then that would be quite bullish. Then you got your target up there at the top there. I think it's going to need to take a bit of effort to get above the high of that high volume bar though. So it's up to you how you want to play that, but it's not looking too bad at the moment. But you are in that distribution area at the moment, so we'll just have to see what happens on the next bar. This is ORD. I think I charted this last week. Here we see it's gone up on volume, but it's been sold into. You see all this high volume here? That's the professional money selling that very heavily. Look, it's dwarfed all these. You come in and see what these are. And then all your high volume bars are up thrust, up thrust, up thrust, all weak bars. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter how good the stock is. If it's being sold, it has to go down. It can't go up unless people are buying it, and that's heavy selling. I don't think it can get past there in the short term. I think it's going to have to collapse down. As I said last week, it's trying to go up now, and it's your high volume bars, again up thrust bar. So it's no